There is a strong case to be made here that a good policy can be bad politics. And we are setting precedents on our governance as to whether this is clawing back the efforts, or rather the clause on public participation. We are yet to find out if the finance bill will be passed without a comma or a full stop. But at the center, things are falling apart, and the center cannot hold anymore. Welcome to the bold analysis. Miguna just tonight has did a post, and is what is saying, my unsolicited advice to Kenya Kwanza, President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Pull back, listen to Kenyans, withdraw the Finance Bill 2023, postpone the implementation of the housing levy, return to the drawing board. Hire new independent and truthful advisors. Reshuffle your communication team and hire 2 or 3 fresh faces. Don't rely on yes men and yes women. Don't be defensive. Don't argue with the people. Stop entrenching the perception that you are only hiring exclusively from 2 ethnic groups. Stop hiring and recycling incompetent failures and graft-riddled men. The reckless talk about 2 shareholders in a country of 50 million people is political suicide. Mwai Kibaki was elected with 68% of the votes, but was defeated in a referendum 2 years later. Raila Odinga is gaining popularity because many of the senior government officials you have appointed are failing to engage Kenyans in a transparent, respectful, and accountable manner. Urgently, address the issues of high cost of living, corruption, and tribalism. We must stop the downward spiral and steady the ship. The time is now. But that is the long post that Miguna has shared tonight, asking President that listen to the people. Allow me to repeat, listen to the people. Joe Muhahami is saying, he replied, I just picked that one comment because I saw it being highlighted there and many people are replying to it. Nabi Zakayo does not take any advice from anyone. He thinks he's the greatest thing to happen to Kenya since sliced bread, kichwa ngumu. I want to be very objective in this analysis. This Finance Bill 2023 is a disaster. And I know there is a clash. Someone should help me answer this question. There is a clash between political advisors and economic advisors. The logic will dictate that economic advisors reign supreme to political advisors. But is it a case of William Ruto is not taking advice from political advisors, or those political advisors are incompetent? But that's not it. The point is very clear. Political advisors are there, but they don't have a voice. William Ruto has become inadvisable. Miguna is making it clear. Don't argue with the people. Listen to the people. You can't be right throughout. On this one, you must agree. Even looking at the backroom efforts, tomorrow, I'll do an analysis about what's happening in the backroom. Looking at the backroom efforts for the finance bill to sail, even if you're a president, you'll be very worried. There is a very strong case to be made here. And while the housing levy has an economic rationale that is being projected by the administration, there is a general understanding that it is rushed and really it is not the priority of the country now amidst the soaring inflation. I listened to the PS saying both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja had a raft of a plan about housing. Azimio were proposing 1.5% as their levy. Kenya Kwanza did not have a percentage in their plan. But don't you think we need even to go for the 1.5 or even 2% instead of 3? At least we ease in the budget. But I don't want to be narrow. I don't want to, as things go, I don't want to narrow this issue about the finance bill, about housing levy. The whole finance bill in totality is a mess. And this is what Kenyans sometimes are not getting. We're at least glued to think that the devil is that housing levy. That's not it. The housing levy is just one element. But if you read the finance bill, tax on content creators, we are going to be taxed 40%, 25% by the US, and another 15% by the Kenyan government. 40%. Someone earning 20,000 will go home with less than 10,000. Content creator paying Wi-Fi, transport to go and interview, at least as we are doing it seated at home. You need a camera, you need to pay your rent. You know, it's not easy. If you're traveling, you need transport. It's not easy. It's not that easy. You need wardrobe. Yes. For example, you must work on your wardrobe. Monthly, you must always visit your designer or someone who does your clothes. I'm telling you, it's not going to be uneasy. And I want to pick it from where Miguna has left it. The effects, some 3 giant effects, if that finance bill is passed as it is. This is what it means for Kenya. This is what it means for you. The ripple effect on inflation is going to leave hustlers in tears and is projecting UDA administration as an administration that is not sensitive to the economic struggles of the hustlers. You know, let's say as it is, the tone of the last presidential campaign, each camp were talking about ushering the new era of economic freedom. I remember there is a very big billboard along Jogoo Road. And there was also another one around Greenspan. And again, on your way around Ngong Road, freedom is here. The reason why UDA did freedom is here was, number one, to project as if the country was coming in some sort of a hell. And then economic, of course, things became so tough. Things were so tough. And Uhuru Kenyatta would come. The very last exit speeches of former President Uhuru Kenyatta was telling this country that some of these things you are blaming about are happening because of some international forces. But because we were played politics, we dismissed the former president. Now, 16% VAT on fuel is going to affect all the consumer goods. All. Just today, I went to bought, I wanted to buy the 2 liters, a soda, and I was told it's going at 190, not 180. I think not 160. Just today. That's it. All the consumer goods, zote, all the consumer goods is going to hike because the transport cost, fuel. The cost of production, fuel. So what do you expect? And this is, the cost of production is, number one, moving even those raw materials. Those who are importing raw materials are moving those raw materials from the point of entry even to the company. There's a cost into it. The finished product in the supply chain, just locally here, between the point of production, from the manufacturer to the retailer, you must factor in the transport. That's there. You know, and when the prices become unbearable, people won't buy. People will sort for the alternatives and change the consumption patterns. The company will have to shrink on how much the units you produce in a day when the consumption goes down. And the moment you reduce the units produced in a day, it means you need to shed off some workers. And that's what some of these people are saying, job cuts. The ripple effect is huge. As much as we are trying to make it that we are going to create jobs, ladies and gentlemen, even this person who is going to that mjengo is going to spend more on food. Mjengo is paying him 500. He's going there. The mama mwenye anauza food is not going to sell ugali omena at 60. It's going to sell at 90. Coming back home, the M3, out of the 500, he has already spent 80 on food, or let's say 100. Coming back home, he's spending 50. To and fro, 200. The guy remains with 300, and he has not bought unga home. When you come home, the unga is at 250. The guy has remained with 50 shillings. Now, this is the person that you are lying to, that you are giving him a job. The ripple effect in the economy is huge than the job creation. Someone needs to know that. Someone needs to get that. You know, that is just one. If the finance bill sailed the way it is, President Ruto is going to usher endless political agitation that will squash his power in or before 2027. This inaugural budget by the president, and developed as years ago, that's what is going to dwindle. And in fact, people will start listening to, and that's what Miguna is saying there, that Raila is going to gain the ground, the traction with it. Because as Raila Odinga team and as Mio side are saying, pushback, we are helpless. And the reason why I think the president needs to listen to the people is because any other leader who will project himself as listening to the people and giving people a solution, that person will get traction. And I can tell you, it will be very easy to see people coming out in streets to protest voluntarily. You know, the other day someone was telling me, Kevin, it will reach a point where people protest without being told to. Without being told to. Lastly, if you don't listen to the people and you pass it as it is, then you're going to have loyalty split as competitors will gain ground. I think someone needs to watch the video of Boni Khalwale being heckled in Kakamega. You need to see video of Malala being heckled. You need to see some videos happening in TikTok, being shared in TikTok, about young people complaining. The competitors are going to gain ground, and the tragedy that might befall state civil servants is that Ruto will finally fire these advisors. And after collecting all this money and doing all these he wants, fire these advisors and perhaps blame them on it. But it is upon the country to see. The only thing is that we're normally blinded. This kind of money being collected under housing levy will, at the electioneering period, find itself being donated to us in form of a wheelbarrow, in form of a sewing machine, in form of a cooking gas. Then it morphed up into a political movement, and people forget. The people forget that it was never about the source of the money is you and me that donated. And you know, we need to be very sensitive here, because I think the president has projected this housing levy as a solution to the Kenyan problem. The kind of zeal that has been put to pass this, it has been projected as the messiah that's gonna save the country from the mess. That's what you don't even, you know, it's like if you post this, then you are, if you post this, then you're not living in this country. So if you take this levy and you've already projected as a solution, you'll have to give these people the solution. Without that solution, then expect a pushback. But when will Kenyans learn? That's my vote.